Welcome to Beyond the Nebula, the home of the best humanity fuck-yeah sci-fi stories on YouTube. This isn't your average space tale. Here, humans don't just survive. We dominate. We're the wild card the galaxy fears. Subscribe and join the journey as we unleash stories where humanity breaks every rule and shatters every expectation. Now, strap in. The Centurion is waking, and the universe won't know what hit it. The scavenger ship Prophet's blade shuddered as its plasma drills breached the vault door. "Signal the client," Captain Vexis hissed, her four eyes reflecting the blue glow of the derelict Orbital Tomb. "We've found the human relic." Behind her, the crew of the blade tensed. The structure shouldn't exist, a perfect titanium sphere floating near Pluto, untouched for millennia. Their scanners showed only one object inside, a single stasis pod etched with strange angular runes. The pod exploded outward in a storm of frozen gas. Vexis barely had time to scream before a gauntleted fist crushed her thorax. Gold-tinged blood floated in zero-G as the figure emerged, 7 feet tall, clad in armor blacker than space itself. The helmet turned, revealing a single blood-red visor where the face should be. The scavengers opened fire. Plasma bolts sizzled against the warrior's pauldrons and did nothing. "Pathetic," the figure growled in perfect galactic common. Its voice was like grinding tectonic plates. A wrist-mounted blade snapped forward, bisecting 2 crewmates before they could blink. The last surviving crew member, a young Thari engineer, pressed against the bulkhead as the monster approached. "Please," she begged. "We didn't know." The warrior's helmet retracted with a hiss. The engineer gasped. Beneath the armor was a human face, pale skin scarred with cybernetic implants, eyes glowing faintly gold. 10,000 years, the Centurion whispered, staring at his own reflection in the engineer's visor. "How long was I asleep?" Alarms blared. The Prophet's blade's defense AI triggered the anti-boarding protocols. Automated turrets unfolded from the ceiling, and the Centurion moved. His armored form became a blur, dodging hypersonic rounds with unnatural precision. The engineer watched in horror as he ripped a turret from its mount and used it to crush 2 others. When the last gun fell silent, the Centurion stood amidst floating debris, his chest barely rising. "You're not here for salvage," the Centurion said suddenly, turning to the trembling engineer. "You were sent." The Cathari's pupils dilated, a telltale sign of fear in her species. The warrior's gauntlet seized her throat. "Who woke me?" Before she could answer, the ship's comms crackled to life. A voice spoke in a language no living being should know. "Initiate Protocol Longinus. The inhibitors are coming." The Centurion's grip tightened. His golden eyes flickered with something like dread. "Gods help us all." The Cathari engineer's claws scrabbled against the Centurion's armored wrist as he dragged her through the Prophet's blade's corpse-strewn corridors. Her breath came in ragged, panicked bursts, the scent of her own fear thick in the recycled air. "Where is the bridge?" the Centurion growled. His voice carried the weight of glaciers grinding stone to dust. "Forward," she choked out. He dropped her. She collapsed, gasping as he strode past her toward the ship's command center. The deck plating groaned under his weight. The bridge was a graveyard. The crew who had fled here lay in pieces, limbs severed by precise, brutal cuts. The Centurion ignored them, stepping over cooling bodies to reach the navigation console. His armored fingers danced across the alien interface with unsettling familiarity. The main display flickered to life, projecting a star chart of the Sol system. The Centurion froze. Earth glowed blue-green at the center of the hologram, ringed by a lattice of crimson markers. "Quarantine," he whispered. The engineer pushed herself up onto shaking limbs. "You don't understand," she rasped. The Galactic Accord declared Sol off-limits 10 centuries ago. No one goes in. No one comes out. The Centurion's helmet snapped toward her. "Why?" She hesitated. His gauntlet twitched. "Because of you," she blurted. "Because every time someone digs up one of your relics, entire systems burn." Silence. The ship's damaged life support wheezed. Then laughter. A deep, terrible sound that vibrated through the engineer's exoskeleton. The Centurion threw his head back and laughed, the gold-tinged veins in his neck pulsing. "Oh, little insect," he said, wiping a tear from his scarred face. "You think we were the monsters?" The display flickered again. A new signal overrode the star chart, a priority alert from the ship's AI. "Warning, unknown vessel approaching." Signature match, 99.7% Galactic Federation dreadnought. The engineer's blood ran cold. No, they wouldn't send a dreadnought for one. The Centurion was already moving. He seized her by the arm and hauled her toward the escape pods. "You have 30 seconds to live," he said, shoving her into the cramped capsule. "Pray, I'm feeling merciful." The pod ejected just as the Prophet's blade's hull screamed under the weight of orbital cannon fire. Alone in the wreckage, the Centurion stood amid the flames, watching the Federation warship descend through the debris field. Its hull gleamed like polished bone, its prow bristling with enough firepower to glass a continent. A comm channel crackled open. "Unknown human artifact," boomed a voice from the dreadnought. "You are in violation of Galactic Accord Statute 7. Surrender immediately, or be." The Centurion ripped the console from the wall and hurled it through the bridge's shattered viewport. The vacuum howled as atmosphere rushed out, carrying his words into the void. "I am Centurion Prime of the 1st Legion. I do not surrender." The dreadnought opened fire. Plasma bolts the size of skyscrapers lanced toward the dying ship, and the Centurion moved. His armor's thrusters ignited, propelling him through the storm of fire like a black comet. He twisted mid-flight, avoiding a direct hit by centimeters, and landed on the dreadnought's hull with a thunderous clang. The engineers inside never saw him coming. He punched through the outer plating like it was wet paper, his nanite-edged fists carving a path straight to the reactor core. Alarms blared, crewmen screamed. The Centurion ignored them all, his golden eyes fixed on the glowing heart of the ship. He placed one gauntleted hand against the reactor casing. "Activate Legion protocol." Deep beneath Mars, something ancient stirred. The dreadnought's captain had just enough time to see the warning lights flare across his console before the Centurion's voice echoed through the ship's dying comms. "Welcome to the war." Then the stars went dark. The void between Mars and its moon was supposed to be dead space. The Centurion remembered it differently. 10,000 years ago, Phobos hadn't been a pockmarked rock. It had been armed. A battle station disguised as a moon, its cratered surface hiding railgun batteries capable of punching through dreadnought armor like paper. Now, as the Centurion's stolen Federation shuttle streaked toward the derelict moon, he saw only ruins. The shuttle's proximity alarm blared. "Warning, orbital defense platforms active." He broadcast the old Legion authentication sequence. The turrets didn't fire, they saluted. The Centurion stepped out into the dust. Inside Phobos lay the reason Sol was quarantined, Legion. Thousands of stasis pods, identical warriors, a buried army. One pod cracked open. A figure emerged, crimson-striped armor. "Took you long enough," Decimus rasped. He was dying, but they had no time. "The inhibitors are coming. How many can we wake? 200, maybe 3. Wake them all. You can't be serious. Authorization override. Open the Martian vaults. Disable safety protocols. Confirm." Deep beneath Mars, something screamed to life. Decimus stared at him. "What have you done?" The Centurion turned to face his dying brother. "What we were designed to do." The Centurion watched from the moon's craggy surface as Mars split open. A jagged chasm raced across the planet's equator, vomiting plumes of crimson dust into the thin atmosphere. The Centurion turned to Decimus. "Get the Legion to the surface. I'll clear the way." He didn't wait for a reply. His armor's thrusters ignited, launching him toward the battle in a streak of black and gold. The vault wasn't just an armory. As the Centurion breached Mars's atmosphere, his neural implants screamed with incoming data. "Activate final protocol." The Emperor smiled. "Which one?" The Centurion drew his sidearm and put it against the Emperor's silver helm, "The one where we fight back." The gunshot echoed across dead Martian plains as the first inhibitor ships entered orbit. High above, Saturn's rings began to move. They'll send the architects next. Alone on the red sands, the Centurion threw back his head and laughed. "Let them come." If that fired you up, hit subscribe and ring the bell. More humanity fuck yeah stories are on the way, where humans don't just fight back, they rewrite the rules. Check the description for all the extras and join Beyond the Nebula, where humanity rules the stars.